Hello and welcome to Hot Potato Finance. In today's video, we're talking about a topic that all of you know well, but probably don't know the name of. That topic is utility. Now, utility is the measure of benefit, satisfaction, or value that someone gets from consuming or using a product or service. Now, I know that sounds a bit confusing, but think about it like eating pizza. Eating pizza gives you nutrition. That is utility. Now, as economists are great at naming things, they've named the value of utility as utils. Now, when we're talking about utility, we have to ask the question, why do we talk about utility? Well, we talk about utility because this is something that we use every single day. We need to make a decision about one thing versus another. And so we need to compare, do we choose option A, do we choose option B, or do we choose option C? And in comparing each of those together, our first instinct is to look at price. Is option A, B, or C more expensive? Now, if we look at them all equally and say they all cost the same value, which one do we choose? We then look at the utility of those three options. Are they giving us more satisfaction, benefit, or other value versus the others? And so as you can see, we use utility every single day of our lives in making decisions for what to choose. So let's go back to our pizza option. If we're looking at choosing pizza or pasta for dinner, is pizza or pasta going to give us more benefit or satisfaction? Is one going to taste better? Is one going to give us a better value? And that's a decision that we have to make for ourselves in the long run. So now that we've talked about why we talk about utility, let's talk about utility from an economic standpoint. The importance of utility when we talk about economics or the marketplace is that we have limited resources. Everything that we do is limited. We have a limited amount of money. We have a limited amount of resources in the world. We have a limited amount of time. When we're looking at how we spend these resources, we need to make sure we're making the best decisions possible. If we're spending too much time making a decision, we've wasted a limited resource. If we spend too much of our money on something that doesn't give us a greater value, then we've wasted that money. And so it's very important from a marketplace and an economic standpoint for everyone that we are using utility to make sure that we are as efficient as possible in making decisions. So if we think about it from a real-world perspective, let's think electric cars. Investing in electric cars from a utility standpoint is very important. We have limited resources when it comes to fossil fuels. So continuing to invest time and money in fossil fuel powered vehicles is using up those valuable resources. But by utilizing our utility, that valuable resource of time, into resources that produce electric vehicles, now we're producing something that long term is going to produce a greater value. And so we are looking at it not from a monetary standpoint, which may be more expensive, but from a utility standpoint, in that we are getting more benefit and satisfaction and value from that product. Now that we've looked at it from a marketplace, let's talk about some real-world examples. We've been living in a pandemic world for the last few years. Now, if you're looking at this video from a few years from now or much farther in the future where you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm very jealous and you're very lucky. But let's imagine that you're looking at an option of delivery versus pickup for your food. You have an option of driving to go pick up your food or paying $20 to have your food delivered. You're looking at a utility option. So the utility here is the benefit of having your food delivered to you. Now there's a cost associated with that versus you getting up, getting in your car and going there, which is a cost of time, a little bit of money with gas, etc. But the utility here is the benefit that you're receiving by having someone else deliver the food to you. And what is that worth to you to not have to go out of your house? Versus the $20 to have someone deliver the food to you. That's a decision that you have to make. I'm not going to make that decision for you. Someone else isn't going to make that decision for you. You have to make that decision for yourself. And this is a very important decision. For a lot of us during the pandemic, it was very much an important decision that we had someone else deliver the food to us in order to keep everyone safe. For utility value, our health was more important than the $20 to have the food delivered. Now that we're getting to the end of the pandemic, where we have a lot of resources in place to keep us safe, now that utility is becoming much less of a benefit to stay home, and it's now much safer to go and pick up the food for ourselves. In most situations, not for everyone. For another real-world scenario, this is one that I actually had a conversation with my daughter just the other day. My teenage daughters do not always like that they have an accountant for a dad. My teenage daughter asked me about a water bottle. What would be the best water bottle to get? She recently got a few extra dollars and she was looking at a water bottle to get online. What's the difference between a need water bottle versus a splurge water bottle? This is a very rough question because a need water bottle is very different for different kinds of situations. If she is just looking for something very simple, a $1 water bottle from Walmart could fit a need water bottle. If she's looking to going hiking, then a need water bottle could be very different than the $1 water bottle from Walmart, and she may actually need something a little bit more. Whereas a splurge water bottle would be something far more designer than just simply a water bottle. What she was hoping for was a 30-second, this is my opinion, turned into about a 30-minute conversation. This is the importance of utility and understanding how it applies in everyday life and applying it in all of our decision making, because it helps us to be able to make the best decisions possible for all of our financial and non-financial decisions. Now, all of that being said, utility is very important for all of your life. When you're talking about who to marry, who to date, what career to choose, you are deciding what values you are going to place. These are more than just financial things. These are things where you are applying the values that you find important. And all of that revolves around utility. We may think of utility as an economic function, but in reality, it is very much all about your life and your values, because you will be using it now and forever. As always, happy spending.